Was I wrong for meticulously planning the downfall of my entire family, all because they thought a no-drama day was a clever way to exclude me? Tell me if you would have done the same thing, because honestly, I still sleep soundly at night. They wanted peace, but they got a storm, and I was the one holding the lightning. It all started subtly, as these things often do. My family, bless their hearts, have always been a vibrant, chaotic bunch. Think big Italian family, but with less actual Italy and more passive aggression simmered over years. Arguments were a staple at every holiday, every birthday, every Tuesday night dinner, and usually I, being the outspoken and admittedly somewhat fiery middle child, was at the center of a good many of them. I'm not saying I'm innocent, I'm just saying I'm reactive, and when someone pokes the bear tends to roar. My older brother, Mark, is the golden child, perfectly agreeable, always mediating, never rocking the boat. My younger sister, Sarah, is the drama queen, constantly seeking attention and often instigating without taking responsibility. And then there's me, Alex, the truth teller, the one who calls out the bullshit, and apparently the one who brings the drama. The first sign that something was off was about 6 months before the big explosion. My mom, Martha, started talking about wanting a peaceful Thanksgiving. Just 1 year, she'd sigh dramatically, "Can't we just have one day without any drama?" Everyone would nod solemnly, glancing at me. I'd roll my eyes because, honestly, their definition of drama was usually me pointing out that Mark had once again conveniently forgotten his wallet when it was time to pay for dinner, or Sarah loudly complaining about the gift she received. Small stuff, in my opinion, but to them, it was World War III. Then came the texts. A group chat was created, initially innocently enough, called Holiday Planning. But very quickly, I noticed a separate, much more active group chat that I wasn't a part of. Mark, Sarah, Mom, and even Dad, who usually avoided all family communication like the plague, were in it. I saw Sarah's phone once, glowing with notifications from a chat named Peaceful Fam. I confronted her about it, casually, trying not to seem too bothered. "Oh, that," she said, feigning innocence. "It's just for planning Mom and Dad's anniversary surprise. Super secret." I let it slide, but a tiny seed of suspicion was planted. My family wasn't exactly known for their seamless, clandestine operations. The no-drama day concept truly solidified a few weeks before my parents' 30th wedding anniversary. My mom called me, her voice dripping with an almost saccharine sweetness that usually preceded a request she knew I'd hate. "Alex, honey," she cooed, "for your father and my anniversary, we just want one day, one perfect day, completely free of any tension or arguments. We're calling it our no-drama day." She explained that they were having a small gathering, just immediate family, at a fancy restaurant. She made it sound like a beautiful, heartfelt wish, but the underlying message was as clear as a bell. *Alex, don't you dare ruin this with your drama. I felt a cold knot form in my stomach. It wasn't just a request for peace. It was an accusation, a preemptive strike, and most importantly, an exclusion. They were telling me that I** was the drama, and if they wanted a drama-free day, I needed to conform or else. I plastered on a fake smile, agreeing enthusiastically. "Of course, Mom, that sounds wonderful. Anything for you and Dad. You deserve it." She sounded genuinely pleased, oblivious to the gears already turning in my head. I knew then and there that their no-drama day was going to be anything but. They wanted to draw a line in the sand, and I was going to turn that sand into quicksand. My revenge wasn't going to be loud or confrontational. It was going to be subtle, insidious, and utterly devastating. It was going to dismantle their carefully constructed image of peace, brick by painful brick. The planning began immediately. I started by observing. I paid closer attention to the simmering resentments between my siblings, the unspoken criticisms, the little things that irked everyone. Mark's self-righteousness, Sarah's constant need for validation, my dad's quiet resentment of Mark always asking for money, my mom's passive, aggressive comments about Sarah's lifestyle choices. Oh, there was plenty of drama to go around. I just usually got the blame for pointing it out. My first move was to sow seeds of discord, gently. I would subtly drop comments to Mark about Sarah's extravagant spending, knowing he was always critical of her financial habits. Did you see Sarah's new car, Mark? Wow, she must be doing really well for herself. I'd say, knowing full well he'd interpret it as Sarah is wasting money and probably still expects handouts. To Sarah, I'd mention how Mom always praises Mark's career successes. Mom was just gushing about Mark's latest promotion. Sarah, you know, how he's so responsible and driven. This would ignite Sarah's deep-seated insecurity about not living up to Mark's perceived perfection. I was a master of the backhanded compliment, the innocent-sounding question, the seemingly innocuous observation that would nevertheless strike a nerve. I didn't have to create drama, I just had to fan the existing embers. I also started gathering intelligence. I knew my dad, despite his quiet demeanor, had a secret passion for gambling on horse races. He'd always kept it hidden from my mom, who was vehemently against it. Mark, on the other hand, had a long-standing loan from my dad that he conveniently never paid back, and my mom was completely unaware of it. Sarah had a new, much older boy, friend whom she hadn't introduced to the family, fearing their judgment. She was telling my parents he was just a friend. All these little secrets, these potential landmines, were tucked away in my mental arsenal, waiting for the perfect moment. The anniversary dinner was booked at the Golden Spoon, an incredibly swanky restaurant my parents had always dreamed of visiting. The guest list was small: Mom, Dad, Mark and his wife Emily, Sarah and me, 6 people. A perfect, intimate setting for a complete implosion. My mom had reiterated the no drama day mantra multiple times in the preceding week, almost as if she was trying to hypnotize me into submission. Each time I'd just smile and reassure her, "Don't worry, Mom, it'll be perfect." The day of the dinner arrived, and I was a coiled spring of anticipation. I dressed impeccably, looking utterly serene and innocent. We met in the restaurant's elegant private dining room. The table was beautifully set, crystal gleaming, and the air was thick with forced politeness. My mom, in particular, was practically vibrating with anxiety, constantly trying to steer conversations toward bland, uncontroversial topics. "Isn't this bread delicious?" she'd exclaim, or "The weather has been lovely this week, hasn't it?" The appetizers arrived, and the small talk continued. Mark was talking about his latest project at work, and Emily was chiming in with polite, supportive noises. Sarah was scrolling through her phone, occasionally looking up to offer a bland comment. My dad was just quietly eating, his usual stoic self. I smiled, listened, and waited. My first move was small, almost imperceptible. As the main courses were being served, I turned to my dad. "Dad," I said, a little too loudly, but with an innocent expression, "I was just thinking about that horse race you told me about last week. Did Thunderhoof win like you predicted?" The effect was instantaneous. My dad's fork clattered against his plate, and his face went white. My mom, who was mid-chew, froze, her eyes widening. "Horse race?" she asked, her voice dangerously quiet. "What horse race, George?" Dad stammered, just a friend was talking about it, Martha. Alex must have misunderstood." I looked genuinely confused. "Misunderstood, but you showed me your betting slip. You said you put $500 on it." I tilted my head. "Did you lose, Dad? That's a shame. You seemed so confident." The air crackled. My mom slammed her hand on the table, making everyone jump. "George, you gambled, and $500, after you promised me you'd stop." The no drama day was officially off to a roaring start. My dad was already sweating, trying to placate her, while Mark and Sarah watched with a mix of shock and schadenfreude. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have stopped there, letting the initial explosion suffice? Or would you have pushed further, ensuring every last one of them got their just desserts for treating you like the family pariah? Personally, I knew I was just getting warmed up. The argument between my parents escalated, fueled by years of suppressed resentment about my dad's gambling habit. My mom was furious, not just about the money, but about the betrayal of trust. My dad was defensive, angry that I had betrayed his secret. While they were going at it, I turned my attention to Mark. You know, I mused loudly enough for everyone to hear over the parental shouting match. It's funny how some people just seem to always get ahead, isn't it? Like, some people have all the luck with their careers, and then they have family members who are just so generous with financial help. They never really have to worry about paying it back. I glanced pointedly at Mark. It's almost like a permanent interest, free loan that just gets forgotten about. Mark, who had been trying to pretend he wasn't listening to our parents, snapped his head up. His face, usually so composed, flushed crimson. "What are you talking about, Alex?" he spat, his voice low and dangerous. I widened my eyes innocently. "Oh, nothing specific, Mark, just a general observation. Although, I remember Dad mentioning once that he was still waiting for that investment you made with his money to pay off. How much was that again, Dad? 50,000, wasn't it?" Silence. My parents' argument instantly fizzled, replaced by stunned quiet. My mom slowly turned her head from my dad to Mark, her eyes narrowing. My dad just looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. $50,000, Mark?" My mom asked, her voice dangerously calm. "What investment is Alex talking about?" Mark stammered it was a business opportunity, Mom. Dad lent me some money to get started, and I'm still in the process of paying it back. I chimed in, "Oh, so it wasn't a gift, then," because I distinctly remember Dad telling me it was a gift, and he wasn't expecting it back. And that was, 5 years ago now. My mom exploded. "George, $50,000. You gave Mark $50,000 and didn't tell me." She rounded on Mark. "And you, Mark, you're still paying it back after 5 years. You told us you were self-sufficient. You told us you were successful." The no-drama day was now a full-blown familial civil war. My parents were yelling at each other. My mom was yelling at Mark, and Mark was glaring daggers at me. Emily, Mark's wife, looked utterly mortified, trying to shrink into her chair. And then there was Sarah, who had been enjoying the chaos, a smug look on her face. Her turn was next, speaking of secrets. I said a little too loudly, bringing the attention to Sarah, "Sarah, I've been meaning to ask you. How's that new friend of yours doing, the one with the yacht, and the 3 ex-wives? He sounds fascinating. I made sure to emphasize friend and ex-wives. Sarah's smug expression instantly vanished, replaced by sheer terror. "Alex," she shrieked, her face ashen, "what are you talking about?" My mom, still reeling from the $50,000 revelation, turned to Sarah, her eyes blazing. "Yacht, ex-wives, Sarah, who is this friend?" I shrugged innocently. "Oh, you know, Mom, the one she's been dating for 6 months, but told you is just a work colleague. The one who's old enough to be her father. She didn't want to upset your no-drama day with truth, I suppose. That was the final straw." Sarah burst into tears, denying everything, but her terrified face gave her away. My mom looked like she was about to have an aneurysm. My dad was slumped in his chair, defeated. Mark was still furious, but now distracted by Sarah's drama. The beautiful, expensive restaurant was filled with the sounds of weeping, shouting, and accusations. The other diners were openly staring. The waiter, who had initially tried to be discreet, now looked utterly bewildered. I sat back, took a sip of my water, and smiled. The food, which had been served so meticulously, lay untouched on the table. Their perfect no-drama day had completely blown up in their faces, and I had orchestrated every single beautiful moment of it. The aftermath was glorious. My parents barely spoke to each other for weeks. My mom was furious with my dad for the gambling and the hidden money to Mark. My dad was furious with everyone, especially me. Mark and Sarah were both seething with rage at me, but they were also too busy dealing with their own newly exposed secrets. Sarah had to confess about her much older, married boyfriend, which led to a whole new layer of drama with my parents. Mark eventually had to start making payments to my dad, because my mom was now overseeing all their finances with an iron fist. For a while there was radio silence. Then, slowly, the calls and texts started trickling in. My mom, exhausted, called me to complain about my dad and Mark. Sarah, surprisingly, called to vent about my mom's constant judgment. They were all coming to me, the supposed drama queen, for solace and an ear. The irony was not lost on me. I listened patiently, offered sympathetic noises, and secretly relished every moment. The family dynamics shifted irrevocably. There was no more talk of no drama day. They realized to their horror that the drama wasn't just me. It was inherent in all of them, the secrets they kept, the resentments they harbored. By trying to exclude me and enforce a superficial peace, they had inadvertently opened the floodgates to a much larger, more destructive truth. Did I feel bad? Not for a second. They had made me feel like an outsider, like the problem, when all I was doing was being honest and refusing to play their games. They wanted a perfect, sanitized image, and I gave them reality. It was a harsh lesson, but one they desperately needed. My revenge was indeed sweet, a symphony of chaos that resonated far longer than any fleeting no-drama day ever could have. So, if you've ever been the black sheep, the one blamed for all the family drama, then you know how satisfying it is to turn the tables. Like this video if you were on my side, and believe me, I think I was entirely justified. Subscribe for more stories like this, where the quiet ones deliver the loudest punch, and share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section below. I'll see you all in the next story.